Hello, fantasy football fans. I'm doing my very first podcast here in sunny Alabama. This is outdoors today. What a beautiful day. In 2018, today we're going to talk about undrafted free agents. We know in 2018 there might have been a half dozen undrafted free agents that panned out. But if you're in a dynasty league or a rookie league, these are always great late round picks to take a look at. I have several. I'm going to go over 3 today that I think will pan out for you. Hopefully they will. They're definitely on my radar. And like I said, last year we had Philip Lindsay and maybe 5 other guys who panned out. Philip Lindsay being the main one. And if you can get one of those a year, you're in great shape. Your team is going to have a great hand up on your opponents or your players in your other league, the teams in your other league. Just another thing about I'm going to be starting a podcast. It's called FFWC Fantasy Football Weekly Challenge. I will have a co-host. His name is Dalton Ford. He couldn't be with me today, but he'll be with me soon. Dalton is in a couple of my leagues. He's an excellent fantasy football player, and he has great knowledge in fantasy football. Anyways, the first player I'm going to go over is he was signed by the Baltimore Ravens, who we know are in great need of wide receivers. They did draft this year Marquise Hollywood Brown, who I'm not real high on. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hollywood Brown, he's had problems with his feet. You have a foot injury. It can hinder you throughout your career. It's just not something that I want to take a risk on, especially with Lamar Jackson throwing the ball to him. The other receiver, Miles Boykin, he may have a little more upside. But these are guys you're going to have to spend, Marquise Hollywood Brown, maybe late first-round draft pick. And Boykin, maybe late second, early third-round draft pick in your dynasty rookie leagues. This next guy, he was signed as an undrafted free agent out of Louisville. No coincidence, same school as Lamar Jackson. He was actually a teammate of Lamar Jackson's for 2 years. His name is Jaylen Smith. He was a wide receiver at Louisville. And his time with Lamar Jackson, they have great chemistry together. He had over 2,000 yards receiving, 14 touchdowns while he played with Lamar Jackson. On to the next. Excuse me. You hear the traffic going by in the background. I kind of apologize for that. But the next player is Bruce Anderson. And he was signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I don't believe they drafted a back this year. But they're in great need of a running back. They do have a new coach in Bruce Arians, who has a great track record of producing good backs. Just look to David Johnson in Arizona, who was under Bruce Arians. And so anyway, Bruce Anderson, he's out of North Dakota State University, a smaller school. He's kind of a do-it-all back. He's a punishing runner. He's a good pass blocker, and he's a good pass receiver. Good for PPR leagues. And he's behind only Peyton Barber and Rojo, who didn't pan out last year. Like I said, Bruce Arians, he's going to put the best player on the field. And sometimes these players turn out to be fantasy gold. Definitely keep an eye on Bruce Anderson during preseason with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This last guy, he'll be on all of my fantasy teams. He'll be a late round choice. He had some off-field issues, which is why he was not drafted. He's out of Colorado State University, and he was signed by the Miami Dolphins, who are in great need of wide receivers. They do have Devontae Parker, who hasn't been the greatest. Kenny Stills, who hasn't been bad. And we'll say Bryce Butler or Jakeem Grant, who are kind of unproven as well. But this guy, he was a 5-star recruit out of high school. He played with Tennessee. He did get in some off the field issues. He pushed his girlfriend allegedly in an apartment, and he had pleaded to a misdemeanor, I believe. But anyways, he transferred to Colorado State University 2019. He had 96 catches, 1,345 yards, and 14 touchdowns. And he's going to a pretty needy Dolphins receiving corps. The Dolphins are going to be kind of rebuilding their team. They do have a new quarterback in Josh Rosen. They do have a new coach in Brian Flores, who learned 15 years under Bill Belichick. Not a bad guy to learn under. My NFL comparison for this guy, he's 6'4", 210 pounds, comparable to Kenny Galladay. He also has traits, A.J. Green with his size, and of course Julio Jones with his great hands. That's just, do you want to take a chance on this guy? Like I said, he has, if he stays out of trouble, he will be on the field. He will be a factor. He's a red zone threat. I watched multiple films on Preston Williams, and he is phenomenal. He after the catch ability is just great. He has great separation. He goes up and gets the ball. He has great hands. He's a contested, very good contested ball receiver. Great in the red zone. So he has multi-talents, and he's a great sleeper. This kid is for real, and he'll be on all of my dynasty teams. One-on-one, he is uncoverable. He's got, like I said, new coaching. Chad O'Shea, the New England receivers coach, came over to join Coach Flores, as well as Jim Bob Cooter, who is the quarterbacks coach, and he had some success with Matt Stafford. And they should be a pass-heavy team. They really should. They're going to be behind a lot this year. And, next year, if their record does not do well, they pan out well this year, they could be drafting Tua Tagovailoa of the Alabama Crimson Tide, who is an outstanding quarterback. And what an exciting combo that would be, Tua to Preston Williams. I really like it. So that's it for today. Like I said, in the next coming week, I'll be discussing more undrafted free agents, and I'll also be discussing some rookie sleepers in this year's draft. Down the road, I'm going to be talking about players with injuries that you might want to avoid, and I'll give you the reasons why, and possible to get their handcuffs as well. In the meantime, happy fantasy football trails. Good luck.